Welcome to the Determined Mom Show, the only marketing podcast dedicated to guiding mom CEOs into tranquility, wealth, and multiplying those precious moments. On today's episode of the Determined Mom Show, we have Lucy Liu from Lucy Liu Coaching.
Hello. I am so absolutely honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. I mean, we talked earlier, but yeah, for all the beautiful souls listening in too. Thank you for being here too. So I am a life coach and I help unstuck women in life transition by beating overwhelm and seeing clarity, setting new goals to live a happier life. And it just happens to be that most women I work with are mompreneurs.
Oh, that's awesome. That's exactly who's listening right now. So that's perfect. How did you come to be a coach? Tell us how that happened.
I have actually been unofficially coaching for probably 5 years. I was giving people advice. I am the type of positive person that you would come for advice for and ask how, right?
Yep.
How are you so positive? Like, how are you able to see the positive in such negative events? I am originally from Los Angeles, but I am currently coming to you from Taiwan. It is a country in Asia, and I moved here with my husband. Well, back then, my boyfriend, when I had no relatives here,
Wow.
no friends here, and everyone used to ask me, how do you do it? How can you make such a big life transition?
Yeah, that is a huge change to not only go from a different location to a different country and culture and everything.
But actually, even if you're not moving geographically, we are going through life transitions in our life all the time, right? We go from single to being married. We go from being in school, a student, to maybe a working mom, and then maybe owning your own business, or even just different ages and different periods of life. We are always in transition. And the fundamental mindset work, the inner work, is actually the same.
Yeah, that is so true. And I never even thought of that, but I'm one of those people, probably like you, that loves change. I look forward to those periods of transition because I am always craving that new experience. So I think that's interesting. And we are always going through them. I never even thought of that.
It could be an exciting time. I mean, we all say that we love surprises, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes when the surprise actually comes, when the change come for you, you see it as negative sign. And then you think of it as a problem instead of a pleasant surprise. So it all has to do with your mindset.
Yeah, I agree completely and totally. And I think it's definitely harder for us moms to feel that way, to get into that mindset, because we just have so much that your brain is on autopilot, right?
We are super women. We have superpower.
Yeah, we do. I know. We have a lot of it. Moving to Taiwan, so you were coaching, was it like your friends and family that were approaching you for coaching?
I think that's how I started.
Okay.
That's how I started. I was giving advice and I did not even know coaching was a career.
Mm-hmm.
Because where I came from, a lot of my friends, none of them had coaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when I realized this is something I'm good at, I actually started looking into it. And now I was like, wow, this is actually something I can do. And it would be fulfilling for me to help others. Especially I feel I am good at it. I want to be humble, but yet as women, we want to be humble, but yet we have to brag about ourselves, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We have that superpower so that we can help more women.
Yeah. And I think owning what you're good at makes you even better at it, right?
Absolutely. And I think we are all good at something. We are here. I believe we are each here, put on this universe, put on this earth for something we're meant to.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I think sometimes it takes longer than we want to figure out what that thing is. But as long as we're patient and we trust that eventually we'll find it, I think that's the most important part.
Yeah, and that's why mindset is important because a lot of times we have to go deeper. Sometimes we have this purpose or this vision of what we want to be, that better version of ourselves, yet sometimes subconsciously our the inner critic already pushed it down and made you believe that that version of you is not possible.
Yeah.
So then you're telling people, well, I don't know what I want. I don't know. There's a lot of I don't knows, but inside you might already know.
That's a good point. And also, I think friends and family can have a lot of influence over what we think we might want to do. Do you feel like that's something that you find in your coaching where people have people like maybe their husband is doubting what they want to do, or their mom or their sister or their cousin, or do you ever see
Absolutely.
that?
Absolutely, because I work with women in transition. A lot of times, there are very supportive families, right? We have to give them credit for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but there are also times when women feel they do not have enough support.
Yeah.
But instead of focusing on the lack of support, instead of focusing on, oh, I don't have the support. Well, they don't have to support you.
Yeah.
They're not obligated to support you.
Yep.
And their brain is putting themselves and putting you in this protective mode. And what they're doing is perfectly normal.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think it's something that we all struggle with to some degree. And I'm glad that that came up because it's important to know how to handle it, what perspective to put that in, what box to put it in. And I think that's really important for moms that are trying to figure that out, what they want to do, what their passion is.
A lot of times our family just want to see us well. They just want us to be safe.
Yeah.
So if we're inside, we're thinking inside the box, we're staying in the box like you talked about. That is safe for them. That is safe for us, of course, right? But if it doesn't feel right, it's not aligned for you. If you don't feel that's your values and priorities, then you're not going to be happy.
Yeah. Wow.
And if you explain that to them and if you show them the better version of you, they will be happy. They will be okay with it in the end, and they will support you in the end because they see the results.
Yeah, that's a great point. I love that. I love it. Shifting gears a little bit, tell us about your family. So you have a daughter. So how is the situation working with your daughter? Did you start working as a coach before you had her? Have you been doing that for a while?
No, I've only been officially coaching after I got my certification. Prior to that, it was just work that wasn't systemized and it wasn't strategized. But officially, I've been coaching for a little bit less than a year.
Okay.
And I think she see that transition in me, and I want to be a better mom for her. That was actually the best part, is that I have this opportunity to demonstrate to my daughter how I can start this new project, how I can successfully manage my time, how I can be productive in my new business, and I still enjoy my time being with her.
Yeah, that's a great gift.
And I want it to be that when they grow up and they have their families, they will value that kind of balance, that kind of time management skill that I pass on to her.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about right now is an example of being very mindful in what you're doing and in what you're trying to give your daughter. So I think that's a great example of that. I love it. I love it.
Absolutely. Being mindful is the basic human ability to be fully present. And we all have that human ability. We just have to be aware of where we are and what we're doing and not overly react or be overwhelmed by what's going on around us.
Yeah, I definitely struggle with 100%. I just get overwhelmed. I do so much in a day. I have a million things going on, and I know that every single mom that I know of struggles with this. So what are some tips that you have for us to kind of overcome that stress and overwhelm and be more present in the moment and be more present of maybe even our schedule and planning and things like that?
Okay. So when you are experiencing overwhelm, it can take shape in a variety of ways. In each instance, you're generally more likely to be overwhelmed by negative emotions. So I hear this word a lot. I'm overwhelmed. But what is overwhelmed? These emotions, including, but they're not limited to, a mixture of anger. You might get angry at yourself. You might get angry at the situation or another person. It's a mixture of those feelings, and fear. There's all types of fear, right? Fears of change, and there's anxiety, and there's feeling of guilt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually kind of difficult. It could be very difficult to understand and verbalize the exact source of the stress because it's like a mixture. It's like a salad bowl. So you kind of have to be very self-aware of what's going on because circumstances are neutral. All the things that happen, they are simply facts. Things happen and they're just facts. What emotion you associate with those facts becomes your emotion that you have towards the circumstance. So for instance, if your child does something and it provokes anger to you, then you're going to react in a very angry way. But instead, you smile at it and think of a positive thing towards that. Then it just goes away really quickly, very pleasantly. Then you will not be overwhelmed. Another example is if, say, you got fired, right? You're starting a new business. It could be the situation you got fired is simply a fact. It happened and it happens to a lot of us, unfortunately. However, if you think of it as a negative event, you are going to be very stressed out and overwhelmed. You might feel life is crashing down. But if you think of it as a positive event, you're going to think, oh, wow, I get a month of vacation, right? Or this is the best opportunity for me to start my business. So exactly the feeling we want to associate with these events in life and these facts will determine your outcome and your feelings.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to stop overthinking a lot of things. I mean, come on, us moms, we overthink everything.
We do. So how can we stop overthinking? I know that I know it sounds easy to just say stop overthinking, but what can we do to, in my mind, literally every day, I have like 20 things going on in my head at any given moment. Is that what you mean by overthinking, or you mean just overthinking that particular situation? Like, for example, if you were fired, just
I would say overthinking by magnifying the negatives.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So for example, you said, how can we do it? The first stop is any event, something happening, right? Any change in life or something you just hear, somebody telling you, or a situation, you want to not react immediately. It has been scientifically proven that I think emotions only last about 90 seconds. So you probably want to wait a little bit, maybe say 2 minutes to be safe, exactly, before you say something, before you react something, or before you put your emotions into it, and so that you can think through it. A lot of us moms, we are so multitask. We are like the octopus, right? We've got like 8 arms and legs, and we think that is better for us in terms of saving time. Unfortunately, most of our multitasking efforts are not time savers at all. So if we're trying to get these 20 things done, we actually get nothing done. So this is where we want to learn from men and be more single tasked and laser focused on one thing at a time. And we want to do it in the most productive, most time effective manner, and then move on very quickly to the next and celebrate in between.
Yeah. That's funny. I think it's funny that you said to learn from men, because I do get irritated with my husband for not multitasking.
Yes.
I'm like, you can just do this at the same time while you're doing that, and then you get it all done. It doesn't even make sense. So I think that's funny.
Yeah. No, multitasking works sometimes, but a
Yeah, yeah.
lot of times, especially if we're trying to juggle and find balance between work and mommy life,
Hmm.
it's very hard to find that balance because we're going to be chasing the balance. We're
Yeah.
going to be wanting that balance and we're going to feel never having that balance. And
Yeah.
that feeling of lack of balance is exactly causing our overwhelm.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. I know when I think about like all of the Facebook groups for moms that I'm in, like the mompreneur groups, and then also just any conversation that I have with moms, we are all chasing that balance. And I think that was the most important thing about having you on the show today is what you said to me during our conversation before we started the recording. And it was, you were like, you can't chasing the balance because then you're never going to be in balance. So can you speak to that a little bit more?
Absolutely. One of my favorite quote of all the time was that yesterday was history and tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift, which is why we call it the present.
Yeah.
So you want to forget about yesterday. What happened, happened. It's done. And it's simply a fact now. And tomorrow, that's just going to be a story, right? It's nothing more than a story. And tomorrow, yes, you have these lists of things to do, but it's not here yet. So you don't want to worry about those. I mean, of course, we can go into goal planning and have action plans for your yearly and monthly and weekly goals. That's a whole nother topic.
Hmm.
But yes, you have these goals, but then you have to focus on today.
Yeah. Wow.
Because whatever you're chasing, if you feel you're imbalanced today, if you feel you're imbalanced at this very moment, then from moment to moment, from day to day, you're already in balance.
Wow. That's awesome. I love that. And I've heard that quote, I don't know, probably 1,000 times, but it's not something that I ever fully absorbed until you put that into perspective, especially now, with like a schedule that's busier than I ever imagined being. So that's a beautiful, beautiful way to put that and put it into perspective.
And also, being in balance looks different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely do not want to compare yourself to others. We're busy if we have one child. And if you have 8 kids, you're going to be busy. It's busyness for everyone on this planet. So if we were all to feel that way, then no one will ever feel balanced. No
Right.
one would ever feel they have the time. No one. So you can choose to be that person that thinks you have enough time. And all it is you don't have time for those that are not on your priority list.
I love that you just said choose to think you have enough time. I'm writing that down.
Absolutely. You have to choose your priorities. And as long as you get your priority item done for the day, you are in good hands.
Mm-hmm.
Your life is in balance, right?
Yeah.
And for others, maybe if you're a single mom, I know I have clients who are single mom, they just get out of a marriage that they're not happy in. That's like the time of their life.
Mm-hmm.
They feel really happy being out of a marriage and they don't want to be in balance. This is their time to go all in their business. They want to 10 times their business. So in that circumstance, they don't want to be in balance. They want to be off balance so that they can skyrocket their business.
Yeah.
Right? So the situation is different for everyone. So you cannot compare. And I think there's also by Grant Cardone, he said that the extraordinary by definition means anything outside the realm of what most normal people can do and do achieve. Only you can decide if something is extraordinary because only you know your true potential and whether you're living up to it. No one else can judge your success. And remember, success is the degree of measure of attaining some desired object or end. Never seek balance, seek extraordinary.
Wow.
And extraordinary is different for everyone. And we are all extraordinary.
Yeah. That's very powerful. Everything you're saying is very powerful, and it's hitting me in a certain way that I'm just like, wow, I'm so glad that you're here and sharing this with us.
Thank you so much. And I really hope this is helpful, because the moment you choose to be balanced, the moment you choose to be living in the present, you already have all the resources in the whole world to go in to your business, to be there for your family.
Yeah. And I think it's also a matter of empowering yourself to take control almost, or is it control? Is that the right word? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like it's taking control of your peacefulness.
Yes. I always say this, that we are the CEO of this organization called our own life.
Mm-hmm.
So we control every department of this organization, right? If you don't like your finance department, it's not doing well, work on it. If you're administrative, the little errands that we run, they're simply errands. They're just there. There are things to be done in life. But if you put negative emotions, it was like, if you're talking like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. Oh, I have all these things to do. The moment you put negative on there, then they become negative.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I do that with the grocery store. I know that sounds silly, but I totally despise going to the grocery store.
I love going to the grocery store.
Do you? Okay, spin that into a positive for me, because
yeah, I do. I love going to the supermarket. I mean, when my daughter was younger, I take her all the time, teaching her what everything is.
Yeah.
And now that she's a little bit older, she's in first grade, we can read the things on the boxes, right?
Oh, that's cool.
When she was younger, you can talk about shapes, you can talk about colors. It's family time.
Yeah.
That is time I blocked off for my daughter. So it doesn't matter where we are. It doesn't matter what we're doing. It's family time. It's us having a good time together.
That's a great, great perspective. Okay, so this Saturday, we're going to all go to the grocery store together.
No, I mean, I do feel my superpower is to turn the negative into positive. And that's what I do with my clients. They can be very overwhelmed and stressed and stuck in something. And I'm just like, hey, let's turn this into a positive opportunity, right? I personally used to hate doing laundry. I can say I used to hate doing laundry, but I love it now.
Yeah.
Because it's all in the mindset.
What was your spin on it? What did you choose to tell yourself?
Well, I can do squats when I'm hanging clothes, right? I'm putting things in and out. I'm flexing my muscle. I'm kind of getting a workout.
Yeah.
And you know what? When you're doing your laundry, it's your time. It's your piece. And instead of rushing through it, enjoy the process.
Yeah.
No one's there. You are by yourself. It's like your own little self time. It's kind of like a meditation time. You can take it, you can rush through it. You can choose to rush through it, and you're going to hate doing laundry for the rest of your life. Or you can choose to enjoy that time and make it into a self-love, self-meditation, do a few squats, feel good about yourself time. And it's all by choice.
Put on some music and dance around. And
absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. I usually do the putting away of the laundry every Sunday. And I just go into the bedroom by myself and put on my TV show, which I really only get to watch TV on the weekend for that one time while I'm putting away laundry. So for me, that's the positive that I put on it.
Yes. Do what you love, right? Yeah. You can go quiet. You can have some really nice music, or you can do something that pumps you up and gets you motivated into the next week.
Yeah. That's great. I love it. We usually do family, anytime there's music on, everybody's dancing. So if I put music on, I think it would attract them in. So I just like to put a TV show that they don't like to watch. Kind of keep that barrier of tranquility up for a minute.
Exactly. And you know what? Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to ask for advice from your friends. You don't have to ask for advice from your family. Do what's right for you.
Yeah. I think that's a great point too, because a lot of us seek answers outside of ourselves. And I think typically we already know the right answer. Like you said earlier, like you already know what you want to do. We're always seeking just to make sure, like, is it really what I wanted? Like just to make sure, am I doing this right? Just to make sure. And I think we already know those answers if we look inside of ourselves.
Yes. And sometimes when when we're in this negative spiral, we go to our best friend, right? We tell them we're spitting out all this negativity and they're trying to be there for us. So they're like, oh, yes. I mean, they're trying to be the nicest person to us, right? And that's perfectly normal. However, they are not trained for this kind of work. And they're not helping because they just validated your negativity.
Right. Oh, that happens all the time. 100%. Yeah.
So you can't get out of the negative spiral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Good advice. I love it. Is there anything else on mindfulness or mindset that you wanted to share with us?
You did talk about the to-do lists, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to have a separate list for like the little things, the to-do, like errands. Those are like icing on the cake. But you want to have your priority list. Like, oh, if I just get one thing done today, I'm good. I'm celebrating. Like you want to have that type of attitude. Mm-hmm. For me, I mean, of course, I have my schedules and goals and action items for the day, but I always tell myself, if I can just wake up and make my bed, I have done my job today.
Yeah.
So then every day I wake up smiling and feeling like I accomplished my goals, like first thing in the morning. Then I bring that kind of attitude into the day. So then it would attract all the right things into my life. And I fully believe everything will happen for me.
That is a very powerful way to wake up. Can you imagine how much our lives would shift and change if we all woke up feeling like we've already accomplished something? And like, yeah, that's amazing. Really, it is.
Yeah. Awesome. So if you want to feel calmer, you want to feel more confident, you want to be happier, all you have to do is like make little changes. Whatever you hear, there's tons of advice out there, right? You don't have to listen to everyone. And you know what? Everyone could be right for someone. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is pick what works for you. Like for me, why do I wake up feeling good about myself is because I go to sleep feeling good. I journal before I go to sleep daily. Mm-hmm. I journal what I did that day. But what's more important is I journal my wins of the day. I journal my gratitude for the day so that I can go to sleep feeling like I'm a winner, and I can go to sleep feeling very grateful for everything I have. So if you are in that grateful state, when you wake up, then you're grateful to be awake.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. Is there a difference? I do gratitude journaling as well, but I'll do it as part of my morning routine like we talked about. It's 5 a.m. as we're recording this where I am, and I get up before my family so I can have some like just peaceful time to do things and get things done. And I do meditation and typically exercise and do my gratitude journaling. Is it better to do the gratitude journaling in the evening?
Well, I can't say some people are morning persons and some people are evening persons. I don't like to say it that way, but whatever works for you. You can try it. Maybe you can do the gratitude journaling tonight and see how that feels for you.
Yeah, I will definitely try that, and I'll let you know if it works out better or give you some feedback on that. Very cool. So what is the big project that you have going on in your business right now?
Well, I've been working with my clients on a one-on-one base in the process of making my course. It be in the form of life mastery, like all these different areas that we're talking about: time management, goal setting, mindset, all the goodies, like all in one, so that it would be for women in transition. But I feel it would be helpful for most women, a resource to go to whenever we are kind of going through any change in life, because I feel that's a very vulnerable time to be in. And I really want to help women at this time.
Yeah, everything we talked about, I think it could benefit anyone at any time. And of course, especially will help mothers and moms that own businesses, especially because we juggle so much and we're constantly in that straight state of overwhelm and balance chasing. But that course sounds amazing, and you must let me know when it comes out. I'll share it with our listeners, and I will be taking it as well because I totally need more of you. And where can everyone find you?
Okay, right now I am hanging out mostly on Instagram, and I am at MSLucyLiu. That's Miss Lucy Liu.
Perfect.
And my website is at lucyliucoaching.com. And right now I have a freebie. It's an ebook of motivation and self-development, which also comes with a instant happiness toolkit.
Oh, that sounds great. I'm going to definitely go download that. And they can find that on your website?
Yes, right there.
Okay, perfect. So I have one final question for you. What is your favorite part? And you kind of answered this earlier, but what is your favorite part about being able to work at home and be with your daughter?
I would say definitely the freedom to be there for her whenever she needs me. Okay. And I want to pass on my mindset to her. I want to show her what it means, what it takes to be a woman strongly believing in herself and wanting to help others and empowering others.
That's very powerful. And I think, that's very, very powerful statement and a very, very powerful reason for you to be doing what you're doing. So I think that's great. Amazing. Well, Lucy, thank you so much for being on the show. You can find all of her information. I'll link to all of her profiles and everywhere you can find her in the show notes. So then that way you can easily get to her, and she would be a wonderful coach from everything you've heard. I'm sure you can already tell that. And she's a super positive person. And it was just a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much. And to all the listeners, wonderful things are coming your way.
Very good. Thank you.
This episode of the Determined Mom Show is brought to you by Online Marketing for Moms, the only marketing membership created especially to teach mom business owners SEO and many other marketing tools, systems, and strategies. Join today at onlinemarketingformoms.com. Use code PODCAST to get 20% off of your monthly or annual membership.